Hello everybody. I'm trying to get this set up. We'll see how long this works. The last time I went live, hi, this is Miranda Madison. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Rochester, Minnesota. And what crazy times we're living in, right? I'm gonna straighten this because... Okay, so my new phone is very heavy compared to my old one. And the old one, I think I restarted everything and everything should work. Okay, I'm going to look up the page on my computer. Last time it did not want to go. Hi, Kayla and Elijah. So last time I tried to go live, it was very finicky. And so I restarted my phone, and hopefully, it'll be better this time. I'm gonna just log into my computer and, share the video. I think I have myself muted. So I haven't done this in like 2 months. I was looking, and that is really how long it has been. So I'm really sorry. Life has been crazy. It has very much just been a weird, weird time that we're in right now. So I'm going to share this to my normal Facebook because I had a couple of people that wanted to follow. Yes, Elijah. Yeah, Elijah picked the card that he wanted me to do live tonight. So I'm going to be using Stampin Blends to do this card. And I already kind of prepped a couple to just jumpstart us on the coloring portion of the card. But it really is a simple design that I think will be really fun to do together. So I'm just putting a little post here. Who knows how many people we'll have tonight because nobody's doing anything. So I have a computer up. If you want to say hello, if you're here, that would be great. And then I know as long as I am in this frame, I'll be good. So this is the card that we're going to recreate. I just did a little insert there. And then this is all colored with Stampin' Blends. And so the ones that I used on this card, most of them I have put away, but I can tell you the colors for this card first. This is Soft Seafoam, and I used the light and the dark. Hi, Rhonda. And then the yellows that I used were Light and Dark Daffodil Delight. And then I used Light and Dark Petal Pink for the little flowers. And then the big flowers are Light and Dark Calypso Coral. And then actually the whole background of that flower image is done with the basic black dark. So I'm going to show you kind of step by step. I have a couple of different ones that we can put together. And I have pre-cut a lot of my materials already just to speed up the process because this one did take me quite a while. And so there may be a couple of different things that we do differently, but it kind of is the gist for sure right now. This is actually for our sentiment. So that piece is for our sentiment that we will cut out, so it's not super critical measurement. It just kind of depends on what sentiment you used. Yep, everyone's healthy here finally. Unfortunately, a couple of my boys have had a weird, just like normal flu bug this week, which was like a 24-hour thing, mostly just upset stomach kind of thing. So no COVID-19 bug around here, but we definitely have had the flu bug going through. So thankfully we're already quarantined. So hopefully we're the only ones that will get it because we're the only ones that have been next to them. So I will say that I'm using basic black cardstock, and it is cut at 4 1/4 by 11, and it is scored at 5 1/2. So that is what the base of the card is. And then I cut the next layer. This is a vellum that is actually a Sale-a-Bration item right now. So if you go to my online Stampin' Up! Store and you look on the left side of the screen, it'll say Sale-a-Bration, and that is where you can find this So Very Vellum Specialty Designer Series paper. So it comes in the 3 different colors of Pool Party, which is the one that we're going to use today. I will either use this one or the Posy, the purple Posy. I'm going to get one of each out because I'm a little bit further along in the coloring for the other one. And so this is kind of what I do when I get a pack of designer series paper. It comes in a big pack, kind of like a 12 by 12 a lot of times. So just like this is the paper that is in the same suite of the stamp set that we're going to use today. And it doesn't come out for customers until April, I believe. So if you're watching live with us, say hello. I see that we have a few more. So when I get my paper pack in the mail, I will cut it down. This is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And that just gives me a border around the edge. You can see that my card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 if you measure the whole card front. And so this gives me a border around it. So this is the purple Posy. This one right here is the soft seafoam that I used on my other one. So you can kind of see it's very faint, but it matches the color of those leaves. So I put the white behind it because it kind of, if I were to just put it on the black, it changes it a little bit. And so I thought it was a little softer to do the white behind it. So that is probably the one that we'll use tonight. But this one is the Pool Party, this one is Purple Posy, and this one is the soft seafoam green. So I should get out the purple of that one. So what I would do is I cut it by that, and then it leaves this size on the end. So that is like one, oh goodness, I should just check what the measurement is for it, just so that you know. When you have a 12 by 12 piece of paper, that is 1 1/2 by 4, 1 1/2 by 4. So that is the pieces for that one, and then I'll set aside this one. So I have a couple of different coloring options that I have started. I like to cut a strip over the top so that when I adhere it to my base, I'll do this part really fast so that it will already be ready to go. So when I adhere it, vellum is kind of tricky because you can see through it. And so when you put adhesive behind it, I'll show you an example. When you put adhesive behind it, you can see the adhesive kind of. And so if I were to put it on here, it would just accentuate the adhesive. And this one is not near as bad as some vellum. I think the polka dots kind of distract you a little bit, but I can still sort of see it. So what I like to do is I like to cut a solid piece and use it just kind of as a guide there. So that'll be the inside of our card. I will show you the stamp set and the framelits that we are using for this one. Like I said, this bundle or this suite is not actually available until April. I think it's in the new catalog. So, hi Dusty. So these are the stamp sets that I'm using today. This is the floral image, and then I'm using the thanks, and then I believe it says for all you do. Yeah, thanks for all you do. So this is the card that we are making. These Stampin' Blends are alcohol markers, alcohol-based markers. They are kind of, if you go to a craft store, they would be like the Copic markers. And what I will show you is that you have to use a, this is the Tuxedo Black Fade Resistant, and it's a water-based ink. So if you use alcohol-based markers, they ask that you do a water-based ink so that it doesn't run between them. And so when you're watercoloring, you would want to use something like StazOn, which is an alcohol-based ink. So that's just a nice simple tip, that if you're using watercolor, you want to use an alcohol-based ink, and if you're using alcohol-based markers, you want to use a water-based ink. So hopefully that'll help you if you plan on doing any coloring like this in the future. So Memento ink is what I used to stamp my image, and that's what this piece is going to be for. So we'll do that next. And I'll set this piece aside, and then I'll leave that there. I have done a couple of different color variations, and I've already put my stamp on my clear block. So it says down here, image at 90%. So it's bigger than the image shows. And then I'll show the framelits afterwards. But you guys will all see how rusty I am. Hi, Julie. It has been so long since I've gone live that I'm sure that there will be many mistakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And I like to put my stamp down on my surface and do it kind of upside down so that I can kind of see where the ink is going. And I just ink it up real good. I thought we might have more people tonight just because nobody's allowed to go anywhere and do anything. So I had a couple people ask to share my link on when I was going to create cards. And who knows, there may be more opportunities for this. So that is all inked up. And now I'm going to do it as centered as I can on this paper. Because we're going to die cut it around the edge with this die cut, which is in the Ornate suite as well. It is called Ornate Layers Dies, and it comes with all of these as well. So they're super, super fun. But I'm just going to hold that down, make sure that the ink is getting in to my cardstock, which is great. That did great. And then I did it as centered as possible, but when we cut it out, we will cut it out like that. And so it'll do the same sort of effect that this one has. So that is the colored image. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of different variations. So this one, I started the coloring because it takes a long time. So hi, Brooke. So I started the coloring, and this one is, I used Blackberry Bliss, light and dark on these two flowers. And I used the Pool Party. This is the one that I made to go with the Pool Party vellum, so the polka dotted one. The Pool Party, and then the Petal Pink is the daisies that I did. And so I'm going to do the leaves. I thought I'd show how I do the leaves with the light and dark Old Olive. So I'll take these, and I'm going to try to zoom in without ruining it. Okay. Hopefully I'll be able to stay in the frame as I sit down. Okay. So what I like to do is I'm going to use the bullet tip for my coloring today. And I like to stick close to the vine, and I just do a pretty messy color using these alcohol-based markers. These are called Stampin Blends, for those of you that are just joining. They are probably my favorite way to color. If I'm using a marker, these are my favorite ones to use. I love watercoloring, but These alcohol-based markers are so smooth and fun. And so if you make a mistake with the alcohol-based markers, they typically will bleed a little bit. And there is something called a color corrector, or what is it called? Color lifter. So that white one can help lift the color. But for this image, it's not really necessary because we will be filling in all of the background with the basic black. And so we'll be covering up all of those mistakes. So I'm just going to do these top few leaves, and I'm not going to do any editing on this video when I post it later to YouTube if I can. Last time it didn't want to let me, so we'll see how picky it is. So that's what I do with the dark color. I don't fill in the whole leaf. I just do towards the vine. And so now I'm using the brush tip. That's actually my favorite side. If I'm picking a side between the bullet tip and the brush tip, it just is so much more smooth when you're using it for a surface. And I just kind of pull out the color from the center. And because these are alcohol-based markers, it blends very naturally on its own. And even if it doesn't look like it is, as it dries, it does more so. So I just continue to kind of swirl, and pull out from that center to kind of bleed that dark color out a little bit more. So just pulling the color from the center with that lighter. And because these are both Old Olive, that's the color of the Stampin' Blend, they do go together whether they blend or not, but they complement each other. They're made to go together. So we're just taking the color out. Don't mind my noise in the background. My family is not on a schedule. Hi, Nay. Because of this no school and quarantine business. Here's the ironic part. My kids were not actually supposed to start spring break until Friday, so the 27th. But because of all of this, they actually started last Wednesday and just had an extended break. So they don't even have accelerated or e-learning until after April 6th. And we won't know whether or not that's the direction that they go until we get another announcement. So who knows what we'll have. So that just, I'll lift it up and show you a little bit more close up what those leaves actually will kind of look like. And as it dries, it'll get a little bit more blended, but I can go back in and continue to work out that color with the light Old Olive as it goes. So that is the one color. So this is the first color option. And then this is the second color option that I chose. And then the third one that I have already done the bulk of the coloring. I just left a little bit of the background to do just so that you could see the different versions. So this kind of shows this. I spent a little bit more time on these leaves to make the blend go a little bit better. And then these ones, I didn't blend quite as much. I wanted to leave that to show the example to you. I used I think it is light smoky slate. That's this one, to do lines, just to give a little bit of shadows to the flower. And then I actually used the color lifter to just blend this light smoky slate together. And then I used the dark smoky slate for the centers of the flowers. The blue flowers are because my nephew Elijah requested the blue. So those are light and dark Night of Navy. So that's what those colors are for those blue flowers. And I typically will start with the dark color first, and then I work out to the lighter colors as I go. And then these two bigger flowers are actually light and dark Highland Heather. So that's the dark one, and this is the light one. And so that is the the colors of the flowers on those. And then I used the same color, the old olive, on those leaves. So that is what those will look like. And so I just thought that I would show you a little bit how I color the background with the basic black, so that you kind of see my system for that one. So I will use the brush tip for the background, and I use the point to go as close to it as I can without getting into the actual image, just around the flowers and the leaves, just to give myself a little bit thicker of a background, thicker of a line, and then I'll kind of go in a circle motion towards the edge of the paper. So I did the whole thing in that circular motion, like this. So it goes fairly quickly, but could have been way more time consuming had I actually done it from start to finish. So I thought that I would use different colors and kind of show a couple of different examples, and then not actually do the full coloring with you, because it does take time. So I'm just kind of curving and trying not to get a thick line, but again, with blends, it a lot of times will fade, and so you'll not see a super harsh line. And I just like to use my Stampin' Pierce mat here to give me something to hold on to when I'm coloring all the way to the edge. So I'll just go in a little bit more, just around, and then it'll dry without having those lines. So that is the full colored image. And because we have already have the rest of it, I'm going to pull out my Big Shot, and then hopefully I can zoom back out, or we may be able to do this with the Big Shot. I'm going to hope to not completely shake us all over the place. So this is my die cut machine. This is my Big Shot. They are not actually in the catalog, but Stampin' Up! Is coming up with their own version. And I'm really sorry if that snaps really loud. I may have saved it from snapping. Okay, so what I like to use when I use my die cut machine with intricate dies, which because of all these little pieces, that is definitely what I would call an intricate die. So what I like to do is I like to use my magnetic plate on the bottom. That's what this white one is. And then I use my precision base plate for on top of my magnetic, which kind of a little bit negates the magnet part. It doesn't really hold it into place near as good if I put something else with it. But what I'm doing is I'm just putting my die over the top of my image as centered as I can. And then I'm going to put my clear plate on the top of it. And my plates are very loved, so this may make a loud noise. So I'm going to go back and forth a couple of times, just real slow. You might even actually get to see it crack because of how well loved it is. So I'm going to take it all the way, and it's supposed to do that because it's warped. So it's not going to hurt the machine at all. I am trying to go a little bit slower so that it's not super, super loud. Oh, did it crack? Maybe. Nope, not yet. Okay, so I just did that back and forth 3 times, and then I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to move the Big Shot over and set it down so that it's out of the way, and then I will show you how I get all of my tiny pieces out. So this is a foam pad, and then I'm going to also pull out my die brush. They do not sell this one anymore, but they have a piece that hooks into this one, and that is not one that I have. So this is a take your pick tool that we sell right now, and it has a an attachment that is kind of like the top of this that screws onto this piece. So that's kind of cool. Hi, Susan. So because I don't have that tool, I use this brush, and I just take it and run it through, just trying to separate it as gently as possible. And I will tell you that I will have to use my piercing tool to get out the majority of them. Last time I had to take it and get it out of all of these tiny little holes around it. So super easy, but here's what it looks like all punched out. So I'm going to take it and actually put that piece aside. And then I have my little trash can over here that I can shake that off and brush that. And then I'm going to take my brush and do the same thing just to kind of curve up those edges. But most of the time, if there are any left in there, I'm going to need to take my paper piercer or my fingernail to get out those tiny pieces that are left, because there's a chance they may be a little bit more stubborn. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to brush off all of those and set that tool aside. And then this is my paper piercer, and it, yeah, so this one's a little bit more stuck. There we go. Fingernails work just as good. So I'm going to look through and see if there are any that need poked out. Just a couple. And I'm going to just take that. I can hear my family moving towards bed up there. Hopefully they're not too loud for you guys. And I think I have them. Okay. So that is what that will look like. And I'll pull down our card base here to make the rest of this. So that is super, super simple. Let's do our sentiment here. And we are using the thanks, and then for all you do from the Ornate thanks. So thanks, and then for all you do is right here. And I have them on the same block, just flipped, so that I only use one. So I'm going to grab my Night of Navy ink, if I can find it on my cart here. Okay, there we go. I'm going to use the Night of Navy on this piece of Whisper White. And we're going to use the thanks first. So I'm just going to open up my ink, slide it there. We'll use the thanks. And because we're going to hand cut this, it doesn't have to be in any certain space on the paper, but we're going to stick that under right there. And then we're finished with that one. And then I will wash those stamps later with my scrub pad. But for timing, you guys can see all of my ink from when I was making it earlier. Elijah told me, you need to go wash your hands. So such a helpful thing. I'm sure that he's being told to wash his hands all the more right now, as are we all. So not a big deal. Hands will get washed. So I'm just going to take my paper snips here and go around. I like to leave a little bit of a border when I go around my sentiments, and it's kind of hard to write and talk at the same time. There's another way that I'm a little bit rusty, right? So we are gonna take this and just cut around our sentiment there. That's why it felt so weird. I was using a weird finger. That is not the normal finger that I use. Oh no, don't go interrupted. Am I still live? I'm going to keep going. Hopefully it catches back up and it'll let us keep watching. My computer says that it had an interruption. So if you're still with us, will you say hello? And I will see if I just need to refresh. Hopefully it'll still be with us. If you're still here, say hello. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going and put this together really fast so that we can finish this card. We're going to put that up there, but I'm going to wait until the end to do that part. Oh, low connection. It's still recording. Hopefully it's still recording. Let me know. Let me know if you're with us. I'm going to put my snail adhesive on all 4 sides of the inside of that. And then I'm going to put it in kind of the center. I'm really sorry if that part got blurry for you guys. Nobody's commenting. Does that mean they're not here? All right, we'll just keep going. So then I like to put my adhesive where the solid colored paper is. So where that frame is on the other side. That's where I'm going to put it. And this piece will go all the way corner to corner. Just as an added in layer. And so this one, I'm just going to do one on each side there. Oh, I didn't realize I had 2 pieces. I am ready to do another one. That'll be good. You can do one with that other colored floral one that we had already started. Okay, so with our sentiment, I'm going to pop it up with Stampin' Dimensionals. That's what these are. And we'll do one on each side. And hopefully my recording will record as just all one, and I won't have to worry about it being separated. Okay, so we're going to put the thank you for all you do right there. Or thanks for all you do. And then we'll do the inside. And we'll just put snail adhesive on that side and that side. And then we'll put it, leaving the same border right there. And that is our finished card. So when I'm finished with this coloring one, I will create a card that's similar to this, just using different colors, and I will share it when I'm finished. So thanks for everyone for coming. It's been so long. So who knows, maybe you'll see more of these lately in the coming days, because I really have missed it. And now that I am at my house a little bit more often, working from home, I have a little bit more of that option to do so. So thank you for coming, and I will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.